This time it's Genichi, one of the King of Fighters bosses from the past, who you absolutely couldn't beat without using defense and offense. As one of the main characters of the Shin Nihon Kikaku boss syndrome, not only is his performance incredible, but the central processing unit's skill is also amazing. The 96 game, which actually marks the beginning of the Orochi story, changed a lot compared to the previous title, so I remember it wasn't that popular in my neighborhood. Now let's take a look at Goenitz of the 8 Heads, who died as soon as he appeared. This time, among all the King of Fighters bosses, there's one you absolutely can't beat without using defense and offense techniques. That boss is Genichi. Shin Nihon Kikaku. As a boss, A boasts incredible performance. When using the weak version, the hitbox is overpowered, making you wonder if there's damage from the wind pressure. So it shows a crazy judgment where it hits you even when it doesn't actually touch you. There are hardly any basic moves this strong in field neutral fights. Next is A's overwhelming judgment. A's hitbox is way inside his body, so even Benamaro, who has a really good light kick, can't handle it. A's weak basic attack does an incredible amount of damage. Even Goro's A, which is known for its crazy power, has to hit 3 times to be similar to Goenitz's A. If you compare it to Goro's C, Goenitz's A is just a little bit stronger with a single hit. Since it's hard to tell the difference like this, let's charge up and amplify the damage. You can check the damage by looking at the lines on each health bar, so just use those to judge. For Goenitz, you can't see the second mark, but for Horo, you can. Personally, I found it very difficult to use, but you can go from standing A to a grab and even use special moves. Compared to standing A, Anja A has become quite ordinary. The downside of this basic move is that no other basic moves can be chained after Anja A. However, you can connect from standing A to Anja A, and it's much easier to link grabs and throws than from standing A. Let's try fighting against Ralph's crouching C, which is quite strong even in 96. Earlier, I mentioned that his basic moves have become quite ordinary, but that was in comparison to his standing A. Just like with standing A, the hitbox is tucked inside, so if you stick it out at the same time, you almost can't lose. You hardly ever see Central Processing Unit Genichi jump, but for us who like to jump around, Genichi's jump A is something we just have to use. If you just check the damage first, it's on par with characters like Parry's jumping heavy attacks. When Genetsu does a rush-type jump attack, you have to use A for it to activate quickly and reach forward. It lands. Short jump. It's difficult to attack, but you can also create a cross-up. If the opponent's jump attack is lower than Genetsu's, you can also do air-to-air like this. Even though Genetsu is quite tall in the game, his jump is very high, so this is possible. His basic hitbox is also overpowered, so it's a loss not to use it. Actually, his long-range B is so good that it makes you think the magic shoes started with Genetsu. Even though he's a boss character, his hitbox is just too much. It's selfish. Magic! Let's try hitting Robert, the owner of the magic shoes, with the magic shoes. Even though the graphics don't touch, you can clearly see that it hits the opponent. Let's try fighting against Robert's powerful long-range B. As far as I can tell, Robert's back isn't weak enough to be outclassed anywhere, but in a contest of hitboxes against Goenitz, he absolutely can't win. One drawback is that its reach is shorter than A, but it activates just a little bit faster. The damage is about the same as A, which is on par with the strong basic attacks of other characters. This is the main basic move, Close Range B. Both the startup and recovery are fast, and for a re-kick, it also has an incredibly long reach. Unlike other basic moves, this one can be used repeatedly, and the damage is insane. It's even hitting from ranges where you wouldn't expect it to connect. Additionally, it can be linked with other basic moves. If you're a player who finds it difficult to use a grab special move, you can finish with a ranged basic move instead. Personally, I find it quite difficult to use, but you can also connect a grab special move directly from a close B. The easier way to use it is to connect with A, since the hit stun lasts a bit longer, making it more convenient. You input forward B, then rotate down and input A, then do a half circle clockwise and use it. The timing is really tight, but once you get used to the rhythm, you can use it quickly. Honestly, crouching B isn't used that much. The startup itself is faster than King Kappan's crouching B, but its recovery is on the slower side. So even though it's a low light normal, unlike King Kappan, you can't do rapid consecutive attacks with it. If the recovery is long, there should at least be some other merit, but you can't even link it to other normals. Because of this, it could end up being a normal that you just throw out once and leave it at that. But interestingly, you can actually link a grab special move from the down B. If you use Genichi's incredible movement speed together with a sudden down B, it's hard to block. Even if you keep pressing jump against the boss, you can't avoid it. But even this won't activate the special move if you're too far away. Next is the jump B, which is mainly used as a primary move. It's not that great when rushing head-on, but it's an overpowered basic move optimized for cross-ups. The cross below represents the middle of the horizontal axis based on the character's body, but it goes way past the left side. That's why Hyoria's move allows for a Lily-class cross-up. Even after completely crossing over, you can still land a hit. So if your jump feels even a little bit off, just pressing B will make sure you don't get touched. Another use is that you can use jump B as a rising overhead. That's the point, even with a light normal. The damage is insane, so it's a very useful technique. However, the rising overhead doesn't work on everyone, and if the opponent is even a little short while crouching, it won't hit. It's a far C with similar flaws to Shingu in 98. When activated, it hits twice at an incredibly slow speed. It can't be cancelled, and the gap between the first and second hit is extremely long. The damage is decent, but honestly, there's no one who would actually get hit by this. Because the gap in the middle is so long, no matter how good the hitboxes are for the first and second hits, it's easy to interrupt. This is a very fast close-range C attack, but it has a significant drawback. The hitback is quite large. Another downside besides the hitback is that the recognition range for the close-range C is too narrow. Even if you're just a little bit farther away, the long-range C will go off like Shingo's fast punch. Of course, the close-range C has good damage, but its stun value is also incredibly high. So generally, if you land close-range C 3 times in a row, it takes away more than half of the opponent's health and stuns them. Normal moves can be cancelled, but they can't be connected into combos. Since the character is so strong, it seems like they gave him a penalty, but you still need to use some grabs. Just like the close C, this is a jump C with overwhelming damage and stun value. However, the only drawback is that it takes a little time for the attack to come out. Just like the close C, you can cause a stun immediately if you hit it 3 times. The easiest combo route is to jump C, then just spam B right after. After a jump C hit, you can immediately follow up with a grab special move. If you land this combo just twice, it almost finishes them off. If you're not confident in basic attacks, Anya C is a good move to just throw out. There are absolutely no hurt boxes on the attack side, so it really creates an offensive barrier. That doesn't mean it beats all basic attacks, but it tends to win against those awkwardly long ones. Just like the close C we saw earlier, you can't use regular moves for combos, but since you can link a command grab special move as long as you land a hit, it's a big deal. This is just a basic D move purely for anti-air. There are a total of 3 attack hitboxes, but it only hits up to the first and second hits. If you look at the hitbox, never mind the front, the attack hitbox is heavily concentrated upward. Since the hurt box is also in a spot that's practically impossible to reach, you can consider this a perfect anti-air move. As far as I know, even now, there isn't a normal move this strong as an anti-air in Guilty Gear. If I had to point out D's only weakness, it's that you can't cancel it into anything. But since you have close C or B, it's okay even if you can't cancel it. Characters with really high jumps can be dealt with using Jump D. Even Choi Bungi's triangle jump, which is the signature move of flashy characters, is nothing in front of Jump D. Since the hitbox is the same as standing D, I won't include a separate hitbox image. That move, which made little kids despair, is the Wind of the World. It's a setup type projectile that places whirlwinds farther away in order from A, B, C to D. One of the reasons it made us despair was because the central processing unit was so vicious and used this move extremely well. And since the roll in 96 is so short, it's practically impossible to dodge Goenitz's projectile. When I played it myself, the mind games of setting it up in just the right spot were actually pretty fun. However, you can easily get past Goenitz's projectile by using a triangle jump. After the whirlwind, the flames rise all the way to the ceiling, but the hitbox itself doesn't reach that high. I used to think the entire whirlwind had a hitbox when I was younger, but that wasn't the case. In normal situations, you can't continue a combo with basic attacks after a cancel, but if you get a counter hit and the opponent is launched into the air, you can follow up with a projectile as an extra hit. For Genichi, 26 man back is actually a useless move. Depending on the strength, you use it facing forward or upward. When you hit with a regular Gaboki, it doesn't connect into a combo. However, when you get a counter hit and the opponent is launched, you can land an extra hit, even if it's weak. The way to deal big damage at full power is to hit a jumping opponent in the corner and follow up with something like a jump C down, but no one is going to use this, and no one is going to get hit by it. This is Genichi's movement skill, Glacier. Honestly, just throwing it out there doesn't really mean much. Because the movement distance is fixed, if your opponent reads it, you'll get punished right away. That's why. But, because it has invincibility at the moment of activation, you can avoid the opponent's setups. Even if you use it early like in baseball, you can dodge projectiles because you run close to the ground. The hurt box is also extremely small, so unless you hit the lower part, it almost never gets hit. You can dodge it even if you use the strong version. You can also use Glacier as a reversal. Unlike other invincible moves, you can safely escape from dangerous situations. Glacier can even pass through Genitsu's own Wind of the World with invincibility. He can easily get through things that others can't even dodge with a roll, just by using a single move. These are Genitsu's grab, special move, and secret technique. Honestly, since I've already shown you a lot earlier, to explain briefly, it activates really fast and the grab range is incredibly long. Let's check if it actually pulls you in. It's definitely quite long. This is Genitsu's Orochi Nyo. If you use A, it moves along the ground, and if you use C, it jumps up. Orochi Nyo became really overpowered because of the stun. When you use the light version, the opponent's guard stun ends first. But when you use the heavy version, Genitsu's stun ends first. To give an extreme example, you can keep inputting heavy Orochi Nyo and CD to force the opponent to keep guarding. Normally, when two rushing special moves collide, they bounce off each other like this, but if you use Max Orochi Nyo, it even absorbs the opponent's rushing special move. When you use Orochi Nyo in baseball, Genichi is at a disadvantage, but the Max version gives you the advantage even in baseball. 96 is a game where CD attacks are unusually strong, and Genichi's is also terrifying. Genitsu's CD has its hitbox and attack box so far apart that it creates a barrier. The reach is also quite long, and the startup isn't that slow either. He can easily deal with that kind of CD. However, Genitsu's CD has a critical bug. If you use the Glacier move while canceling the CD, it doesn't deal any damage at all. This bug also occurs with Palkimnyo. After all the effort to land the CD, the damage just disappears. Even if you get a counter hit, the CD doesn't deal any damage, only the bracelet move does. I'll do the same thing again, so pay close attention to Teddy's health bar. It happens so fast that I added a slow motion effect. This is Goenitz's Jump CD, which makes 98 Chris's Jump CD look like child's play. Just like his standing CD, there is absolutely no hurt box in the attack hitbox area. It's great for air-to-air situations and also incredibly good for rushdown. Even if the opponent guards, Genichi can move as if he has almost no recovery at all. The basic hitbox itself is incredible, and even in recovery, it's top tier. Genichi was truly the king of aerial attacks. To show you how broken the hitbox is, it even destroys powerful anti-air moves, and then those anti-air moves are mercilessly crushed by Genichi's CD as well.